What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the Chance Bishop Show for episode 73 of our Philadelphia Eagles franchise mode. The now 3 times Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles, twice in this series, are coming off of their 3rd Super Bowl victory over the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, MVP went to Aaron Rodgers on the season. Good for Aaron Rodgers. Nick Sirianni wins Coach of the Year, going 14-3. Cooper Kupp gets Offensive Player of the Year. Devontae Smith ranks 10th for OPOY. Defensive Player of the Year goes to Donald. No Eagles make the list right there. Offensive Rookie of the Year. Let's go through this. Any Philadelphia Eagle? No one. All right. Defensive Player of the Year. Maybe. We've had some good defensive rookies in the past. Nope, no one there either. Best QB, of course, it's Rodgers. Richardson ranks 4th in the league. Best running back, we're going to have Bijan Robinson ranking 5th. Christian McCaffrey's number 1. Receiver, you got Kupp. Devontae is 5. Jarrett Patterson, best offensive lineman. Best D lineman, of course, is going to be Donald. Reddick comes in at 8. Sweat at 10. Best linebacker, anyone from Philly. Kaiser White comes in at 9. Trayvon Diggs, the best corner in the league. Jake Elliott, second best kicker in the league. And now for the AFC, Josh Jacobs, Offensive Player. TJ Watt, Defensive Player. Rookie of the Year goes to Oscar Dope. Hod Campbell, Defensive Rookie of the Year. Best QB is Deshaun Watson. Best running back is going to be Josh Jacobs, of course. Amari Cooper is your best receiver. Joe Thuney, going to be your best O-lineman. Jadeveon Clowney is your best D-lineman. You have TJ Watt, your best linebacker. Best D-back is going to be Travis Hunter. And then Daniel Carlson is your best kicker here in the league. Now, Richardson Mariota on the season, 1,200 yards, 10 touchdowns for Bijan Robinson. A couple other players had some rushing yards. Devontae Smith had 1,200 yards receiving, 1,100 from CD, and 1,000 from AJ. A bunch of players had a lot of touchdowns. Let's see, sacks allowed, 16 sacks allowed by Kelvin Banks, 8 from Mulata. That's not great. Garrett Hayes put all 17 games, allowed no sacks. Jarrett Patterson only allowed 1 sack on the season from that center position. It's not too shabby. 125 led our tackles from Kaiser White. You like to see it. 20 tackles from loss from Brian Breezy. Good for Brian. 12.5 sacks from Hassan Reddick. 12 sacks from Josh Sweat. 9 from Brian Breezy. So, we're getting some players getting some sacks right now. That's what you like to see. Now coming in here, 9 interceptions from Trayvon, 6 from Chauncey, 5 from Avante. Ronnie had 1, N'Kobe had 1, Kaiser had 2. Elliott missed 2 field goals and was perfect from extra points though. So way to go, Jake the Snake Elliott, on your kicking this season. Blake Gillikin, 27 punts for 1,400 yards. LJ Johnson, 605 return yards with a touchdown, and 365 punt return yards. No touchdowns for LJ Johnson though. Tyler Huntley led the league with passing yards of 5,700. I believe that's the new single-season record. 46 touchdowns from Patrick Mahomes, and then 24 interceptions from Mac Jones lead the league right there. Anderson had 19. He comes in at 3rd place with interceptions. 1,800 yards rushing from Christian McCaffrey leads the league right there. Absolute unit. Attempts, we got yards right there. We got touchdowns, 27 from Josh Jacobs, absolute monster. Fumbles, Anthony Richardson led the league with 6. Saw an Eagle, just instantly thought Bijan Robinson. Cooper Kupp leads the league in receiving yards. Chris Godwin with catches. Receiving yards goes to Kupp with just under 2,000 receiving yards. Touchdowns goes to Cooper Kupp with 19 on the season. He's tied. Kelvin Banks allowed the most sacks on the season. Cesar Ruiz, only 3. Not too shabby. 165 led the league in tackles. 29 tackles for loss. 21 sacks leads the league from Aaron Donald. 7 interceptions. Apparently Travis Hunter has more interceptions now than Trayvon Diggs. Okay. Let's see. Siebert had the most attempts. Most made goes to Carlson and Elliott. Most attempts goes to extra points. It's going to be Jake Elliott. Hacker had the most punt yards with over 3,000 punting yards. Good for Johnny Hacker. Kick return yards going to go to Noah, that guy. LJ Johnson is the number 1 punt returner in the league. So way to go, LJ Johnson, on your best punt returning duties. Take a look at players who've retired. You got Thielen, Keenan Allen, Robert Woods, Greg Zuerlein, Jarvis Landry, Bobby Wagner, Norwell. You got C.J. Mosley, Matthew Judon, David Andrews, Aaron Rodgers calls it a career. Demario Davis, Jimmy Ward, Fletcher Cox hangs it up after winning his third ring. Stephon Gilmore, Travis Kelce. Wow, Travis Kelce really retired? That's wild. It's wild to think that he retired so young. Going through here, a bunch of free agent. Looks like Bradley Roby, Steven Nelson, former Eagle right there. Jason Verrett, Logan Ryan has a couple rings. He's a former Patriot. Now I'll take a look at any other big names down here. Big Play Slay also retires. I forgot about Big Play Slay saying he's going to retire. So Eagles lose 2 on the retirings factor, both on defense. Nakobe Dean locked him up to a 5-year deal. Dallas Goedert, one of the best tight ends in the league. He's 31 years of age. Baylor Cup's waiting in the wing, but let's bring him back for a couple more years. Now look at that. Some late players retiring. 49ers head coach Frank Reich hangs up the spikes, hangs up the cleats, hangs up the clipboard, retiring with the San Francisco 49ers. Take the free agency pool, DJ Moore, Darren Payne. Those are the top 2 guys coming in to this free agency. Feel free to slow it down and take a look at who's available. Philadelphia right now, sure, we lose Big Play Slay. We lose Fletcher Cox. And, of course, we have, probably some depth players that also left as well. But we're not in a position where we need to go out there and be like, oh, we need to sign the top this, the top that. We draft Kool-Aid McKinstry. We sign Trayvon Diggs. This team is kind of built around having, the next man up. John Ross, we're going to bring him in on a 2-year deal. Attempt to bring him in. Shaka Toney, former Penn State defensive end. Philadelphia likes their Penn State players. 3-year deal for Mr. Toney right here, former first-round draft pick. Instead, Drake Jackson, right here, 25 years old, out of USC, a 4-year deal worth $3.5 million salary and a $3 million signing bonus. Now, coming in this, they're saying, hey, Coach, Brian Breezy, they're saying he brought no value. Excuse me, wasn't he like our 3rd highest sack getter? How did he bring no value to the team? He led our team in tackles for losses. This game makes 0 sense when it comes to recommending 5th-year options. It's like, hey, yeah, this player who set the sack record, had 30 picks and 18 touchdowns. Nah, don't bring him back on that 5th-year option. He's not worth it. He's not worth it. We're also talking about Bijan Robinson. Oh, man, Bijan's done a lot for this team. Bring him back. 5th-year option. 5th-year option, Bijan Robinson. Brian Breezy, Bijan Robinson. Keep that core together just a little bit longer with those 5th-year options. It's going to be... They're going to have some monster contracts to try to probably sign them to next season. But I think, what they do on the field, they're definitely going to be worth it. They're definitely worth signing both of them to their 5th-year options. So that's going to, of course, postpone the contract negotiations, in case you forgot what that did. But taking a look at those who have signed other way, away from their normal teams. Going through here, a lot of players actually did sign. It seems like this free agency. You got some punters, some special teamers guys. They seem like they're the first ones that aren't kind of being re-signed, especially up higher up. But, Will Lutz, we've had 2, 3, 4 punters and kickers just not get re-signed. Chuba Hubbard doesn't have a contract, which is strange, because there are lesser running backs, we're scrolling past that have contracts. But Hubbard did not get a contract offer, at least for overall-wise. They're lower on the list. We passed Jeff Okudah. Okudah was up there, so way to go for them. Drake Jackson, John Ross, and Shaka Toney are all coming to Philadelphia. All signing for at least 2 to 3 years. The Dallas Cowboys have the first overall pick here in the 2026 draft. That's hilarious. They went 3-14. 3-14 Dallas Cowboys. Their first pick is Greg White. The next pick's going to be Teddy Rogers. You have, Oakman right here, the D tackle. Pierce to the Saints. We're going to have Rivers to the Giants. Britton to the Niners. Way to go, Jeff Britton. Steve Collins going to the Buccaneers, trying to find a Brady replacement. Johnson goes to the Bengals. Matthew Jackson goes to the Chiefs. The Dolphins are going to be picking up Deion Ware, the wide receiver from Notre Dame. Peyton Hoffman goes to Seattle to be their QB. Now we have Barton going to the Rams. We have Austin going to the Titans. All right. We have Kenny Graham going to the Bills. Carlos Brown's going to the Jaguars. Let's see. We have Chris Smith going to the Vikings. A lot of linemen going. Quarterback Marcus McPhee goes to the Ravens. Let's see. Myers goes to the Browns. Benedict goes to the Lions. I guess he replaces Jeff Okudah, who they just lost. Gibson goes to the Steelers. We have Bethel going to the Falcons. Okay, Bethel, I like to see you right there. Now let's see, coming through here, we have Jackson going to the Houston Texans. Another D tackle off the board. Okay, a lot of D tackles. Hines, the left tackle, goes to the Commanders. All right, those commies, way to go. Keene goes to the Chargers, another tackle. The Cardinals make their pick right there. And now Panthers are on the board. They're going outside linebackers. So back-to-back defensive players right there between the two of them. Dan Callahan, a linebacker. So 4 straight. Okay. The Jets, they're on the board. They go offensive lineman, Isaac Hall. All right, halfback goes to the Packers. Pope going to go to the Raiders. And Philadelphia, their first pick, select Justin Wilson, the corner out of Auburn. They say we need tight ends, but I don't think a tight end is a first-round move, honestly. Terrence Sewell is going to be our second-round pick right here. Terrence Sewell out of, I don't know what college he came from. Middle Tennessee State for Terrence Sewell, normal dev wide receiver. Following up a normal dev corner. All right, let's go Philadelphia. Ezekiel Roberts, the tight end, out of, where's he out of? He is going to be out of Texas. He's going to be tight end 3 for Philadelphia. He's going to replace Grant Calcaterra, who's not going to be coming back. But one of our weakest positions, we get it filled. Wilson, Sewell, we have Roberts, Livingston, the wide receiver at Northern Illinois. We just have a bunch of players coming through here. Philadelphia, they did the best they could to draft holes in their roster. They found positions where, they didn't bring guys back going into free agency because they thought, all right, well, we can get players for cheaper. Be more cap-friendly going into having to re-sign Brian Breezy and, of course, Bijan Robinson next offseason. So Philadelphia trying to do the best they can to mitigate some of their cap. It's the best they can do. It's the best any team can honestly do, is just worry about the future when it comes to signing players. Philadelphia doesn't do much in this this current offseason, only bringing in some depth moves right there, and then kind of worrying a lot about the draft and filling holes. Well, thanks on YouTube, though. Peace out, rock on, stay super classy. Catch next episode of our